today I'm going to go through the game between Kamsky and Mamedyarov. The game was played at the recent World Cup in Tromsø. Kamsky was playing with the white pieces, and he went into this Sicilian defense. This is after a few transpositions, we basically ended up in the Scheveningen variation, and as you can see, I'm experimenting a little bit with the board using this 3D view, so it might be a little bit difficult to use the pieces, but let's hope this works out. So this is a typical Scheveningen, but White's pieces are a little bit interestingly placed because there's this bishop on d3 and there's the queen on f3, and it seems like White's trying to castle long, but he actually castles short. And now White plays rook a to e1, and this move, well, it basically prepares e5. And it's particularly good here because the bishop is on d3, so it won't be stopping, you know, the rook's influence on e5. So e5 here's the main plan for White. Let's see how this works out. Black goes b5. White prevents b4. And then Mamedyarov goes rook b8, which is ambitious because he wants to push the pawn to b4, you know, and get some play on the queen side going with that. But Kamsky finds a way to continue, so he exchanges the knights, and then he goes queen to h3, and this is very clearly aiming for this pawn, you know. He wants to play e5 and push this knight away and attack on the king side with that. So Mamedyarov goes rook d8, that I guess frees up the square for the king maybe. And now Kamsky here wants to, you know, to push the pawn to e5, but if he does it immediately, probably nothing good would come out of this. So he goes bishop to d2, and this, you know, really sets up for e5. And Mamedyarov just kind of tries to ignore it, but, well, he goes d5, and the idea is that after White goes e5, he manages to put this knight on e4, and that kind of, you know, blocks off the bishop's, well, the d3 bishop's influence on h7. And here Kamsky finds a brilliant sacrifice. Notice that with his last move, White's really attacking this, well, Black's attacking this knight on, this bishop on d2. And then, of course, if Kamsky starts to, you know, defend and move the bishop away, that would just give initiative to Black. Black may find time to play g6, you know, he's got a great centralized knight here. At the same time, we know that, you know, exchanging here on e4 is no good, because then, well, say if White does this, then Black, you know, recaptures, and these kind of games are no good for White, because here Mamedyarov's play in the center is completely justified. So that's unacceptable to White. He can't take on e4, but you know, he can continue with his pressure on the f file, and that's why he goes f5. That just leaves this bishop here completely, you know, undefended, and maybe this was unexpected by Mamedyarov. So, but he took on d2, and now Kamsky takes, and now Kamsky takes on e6, well, that threatens checkmate on h7. So this would be not that. This would be devastating. So of course Mamedyarov doesn't allow this, so he goes back with the knight just to block that scary diagonal. And now Kamsky takes another pawn, and now this king really is, you know, is in big danger. If this knight ever goes away, then h7 will fall, And Kamsky here continues to undermine that diagonal. So I invite you here to think for a few seconds about how white should continue developing his initiative. And well, it's not that easy, right? Like, advancing the pawn doesn't really get us anywhere. These two pieces are kind of, you know, like this knight really disconnects white's king side from his queen side, and these pieces are a little bit out of the game right now. So Kamsky finds a great way to reactivate the bishop. So he takes on d5 with the knight, and his idea is that when black recaptures, he doesn't take with the bishop, he takes with the rook, and that is to, you know, to keep the attack going. So now, of course, taking this would be just completely devastating. Like, white's gonna checkmate here. So instead, after rook e4, Mamedyarov tries to block the diagonal with g6, and now the rook goes away. And black is still up a piece. He's still up a piece, so the game is still very complicated. And here, black made probably a crucial mistake. He definitely wants to stop this from happening, right? So he defended g6, but it was better done by either taking here and then bringing the queen back, or by playing something like queen here and, you know, like getting the queen back into the game along the 6th rank. So instead he played king to g7, and that gave Kamsky a great, you know, way to continue. He keeps the e-pawn, and now this diagonal, you know, of dark square is really vulnerable. So he went here, I guess, to prevent. I guess the threat was to push the pawn and to come to f7 with the second rook. So rook blocks the f pawn, and now queen to e3, a great move. It brings the queen to this diagonal, and so he tried to, you know, cover up d4, but then Kamsky just goes queen e1, and now the queen is still coming back to that diagonal, and there's really no easy way to stop that. So bishop d6, trying to bring the bishop back to the diagonal. And now rook to h4. Well, that also highlights that there is, you know, a target on h7, so the queen might also come over there. So bishop e7, attacking the rook, and now Kamsky plays another great move. The whole game is really just played in a sacrificial spirit of attacking on the king side. So he goes queen to e3, take my rook, and if you take it, then I get back my material, and I give checkmate. So that's great. Queen e3, he can't take the rook, so he has to cover up h6, with h5, check, the king runs, and now, you know, a great conclusion to the game. This king is really being chased here by, what, 4 of white pieces, and these pawns are, you know, helping white pieces as well. So the king is in grave danger, and Kamsky found a great way to, you know, completely take away the last couple of defenders. So he sacrifices the rook with the rook to h5, and yeah, so he goes rook to h5, and here Mamedyarov resigned, and let's just try to imagine what would happen if he had not. Say if he took with the king, well, then queen takes on d5, the king is exposed, and here just queen to e4, there's no way to stop mate on, you know, on g6, and after rook h5, not much better is pawn here because of check, and mate. So a great game by Kamsky. This game allowed him to pass to the next stage of the World Cup, and a great example of how to attack with white in the open Sicilian. Thanks for watching.